The red dust of Mars swirled around Dr. Samira Hassan's boots as she made her way across the Acidalia planitia. 20 years of training, research, and dedication had led to this moment. The readings from her instruments were unlike anything she'd seen before. A perfect geometric pattern carried 30 meters beneath the Martian surface. "Base, this is Hassan. I'm at the coordinates," she reported, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Beginning excavation sequence. The autonomous mining drones hummed to life, their laser cutters precisely carving through layers of ancient rock. Samira monitored their progress through her augmented reality display, watching as they uncovered something that would change humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. Hours passed as the drones worked tirelessly. Finally, a glint of metal caught her eye. "Base, we've got something. It's not natural." The object was a perfect sphere, approximately 2 meters in diameter, composed of an unknown metallic alloy that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. Its surface was covered in intricate patterns that pulsed faintly, as if responding to her presence. "Dr. Hassan," Commander Patel's voice crackled through her calm. "Preliminary analysis." Samira circled the sphere, her instruments collecting data. "It's artificial, definitely not human origin. The metal composition doesn't match anything in our database. And there's some kind of energy signature emanating from it." As she spoke, the patterns on the sphere began to shift and align. A holographic projection suddenly burst forth, filling the Martian sky with a three-dimensional star map. At its center was an image of a humanoid figure, but clearly not human. Tall, elegant, with iridescent skin and multiple pairs of eyes. "Greetings, seekers," the hologram spoke in perfect English, though its mouth didn't move. "If you have found this beacon, your species has reached a crucial evolutionary milestone. We are the Tsar Cully, and we have been watching your development." Samira's hands trembled as she recorded everything. The hologram continued, "This beacon serves as both invitation and warning. Your species stands at a crossroads. The path ahead holds great promise, but also great peril. We offer our guidance, should you choose to accept it." The message repeated in several Earth languages, then the hologram faded, leaving only the sphere with its pulsing patterns. Samira stood in silence, the magnitude of what she'd just witnessed washing over her. "Base," she finally managed to say, "we're going to need a bigger team out here. And you might want to inform the UN Security Council. We're not alone anymore." Within hours, the Olympus base was buzzing with activity. Scientists and military personnel from Earth's major space agencies converged on the site. Security measures were heightened, and a temporary research facility sprouted around the artifact. Dr. Hassan worked tirelessly with her international colleagues to decode the sphere's patterns. Each new discovery raised more questions. The energy signature seemed to pulse in harmony with human brainwaves, suggesting it was designed specifically to interact with human consciousness. As weeks passed, more messages emerged from the artifact. The Tsar Cully shared glimpses of their civilization, a species thousands of years ahead of humanity technologically, but facing their own existential challenges. They spoke of a universe teeming with life, but also fraught with dangers that could only be overcome through cooperation. The final piece of the puzzle came exactly 1 month after the discovery. The sphere projected detailed coordinates for a meeting point in neutral space, along with specifications for a spacecraft capable of making the journey. The message was clear. Humanity had been invited to join the galactic community, but the choice, and the responsibility, was theirs. In the months that followed, Samira found herself at the center of a global transformation. As nations debated the implications of first contact, she worked to understand not just the technology of the sphere, but its deeper meaning. The Tsar Cully hadn't just left them a beacon, they'd left them a choice about their species' future. As she stood on the observation deck of the Olympus base, watching another Martian sunset paint the sky crimson, Samira reflected on how much had changed. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries, but now that it was here, The real work was just beginning. The path to peace among the stars would require not just technological advancement, but wisdom, courage, and unity. The sphere continued its gentle pulsing behind her, a reminder that somewhere out there, another civilization was waiting to welcome humanity into a larger universe, if they could prove themselves worthy of the invitation. The construction of humanity's first interstellar vessel, the ISV Horizon, proceeded at an unprecedented pace. Commander James Rodriguez stood in the ship's observation dome, watching Earth grow smaller behind them. 6 months had passed since Dr. Hassan's discovery on Mars, and now humanity was taking its first real steps into the cosmic ocean. Status report. He called out to his bridge crew, his voice carrying the weight of 20 years of space service. All systems nominal, Commander. Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka responded from her station. The quantum drive is performing exactly as the Zarkeli specifications indicated. We'll reach the rendezvous coordinates in approximately 72 hours. James nodded, his dark eyes fixed on the stars ahead. The crew of 30 represented Earth's finest, scientists, diplomats, and military personnel from 12 different nations. Dr. Hassan sat at her station nearby, still studying the data streaming from the artifact they'd brought aboard. Commander, she called out suddenly, I'm detecting changes in the sphere's energy signature. The patterns are shifting in ways we haven't seen before. Before James could respond, the ship's AI, interrupted. Alert. Unknown vessel approaching at subliminal speed. Configuration matches Zarkeli specifications. The bridge crew watched in awe as a massive ship materialized before them, its crystalline structure catching and refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. It was easily 10 times the size of the Horizon, yet moved with impossible grace. Incoming transmission, Araya announced. A holographic image appeared on the bridge. A Zarkeli official, just as alien and elegant as the one from the original message. Greetings, children of Earth. I am Ambassador Zurath of the Zarkeli Conclave. We welcome you to the stars. James stepped forward, remembering his diplomatic training. Ambassador, I am Commander James Rodriguez of the International Space Vessel Horizon. We come in peace and friendship. As do we, Commander. However, I must warn you, there are elements within both our societies who view this meeting with concern. The warning proved prophetic. As the Horizon docked with the Zarkeli vessel, James noticed unusual movement patterns among their hosts. Something wasn't right. Dr. Hassan picked up on it too. Commander, she whispered, the sphere's energy patterns are becoming erratic. It's never done this before. The diplomatic reception began smoothly enough. The Zarkeli ship's grand hall was a marvel of organic architecture, with living crystal walls that seemed to breathe and pulse with light. Ambassador Zurath introduced key members of their society, scientists, artists, and philosophers eager to begin cultural exchange. Then everything went wrong. A group of Zarkeli extremists, led by Sub-Commander Verlac, burst into the hall. This union is an abomination, Verlac declared. Humanity is too violent, too unpredictable. They'll bring chaos to the conclave. James watched in horror as the extremists activated some kind of energy field, trapping both human and Zarkeli diplomats inside the hall. But what happened next surprised everyone. Dr. Hassan stepped forward, holding the sphere. It was pulsing rapidly now, its patterns synchronizing with both human and Zarkeli biorhythms. This artifact, she announced, her voice steady, wasn't just a message. It's a key to understanding each other. The sphere projected a new hologram, but this time it showed scenes from both human and Zarkeli history, moments of sacrifice, cooperation, and triumph over adversity. It revealed how both species had faced similar challenges, made similar mistakes, and learned similar lessons. Our civilizations aren't so different, Samira continued. We've both fought wars, but we both also strived for peace. We've both faced extinction-level events and survived through cooperation. The sphere doesn't just translate our languages. It translates our experiences. Ambassador Zarath moved to stand beside her. Dr. Hassan speaks truth. Verlac, you fear chaos. But look at what these humans have achieved in mere months. They built a ship using technology they barely understand, crossed impossible distances, and stand here ready to learn and grow. Is that not worthy of respect? The energy field flickered as Verlac's followers began to waver. James seized the moment, addressing the extremists directly. We don't ask for blind trust. We ask for a chance to prove ourselves, just as we're giving you a chance to prove yourselves to us. The standoff lasted several tense minutes before Verlac finally lowered his weapons. Perhaps we have been too hasty in our judgment. As the crisis diffused, James noticed something remarkable. The sphere's patterns had changed again, forming a new symbol, one that combined elements of both human and Zarkeli writing. It was the first word of a new shared language. Ambassador Zarath translated it: unity. The rest of the diplomatic mission proceeded more smoothly, though not without challenges. As humans and Zarkeli worked to establish protocols for future interaction, both sides began to understand that true peace wouldn't come from ignoring their differences, but from learning to bridge them. As James wrote in his official log that night, "Today we learned that the hardest part of reaching the stars isn't the journey outward, but the journey toward understanding. We have taken our first steps, not just into space, but into a larger community. The path ahead is uncertain, but for the first time, we're not walking it alone." The sphere continued its quiet pulsing aboard the horizon, its patterns now a harmony of human and Zarkeli rhythms, a symbol of what could be achieved when different worlds chose to reach for peace together. The horizon's quantum drive hummed quietly as Dr. Hassan and Commander Rodriguez examined the latest data from the sphere. 3 months had passed since the first diplomatic contact, and something was changing in the artifact's behavior. "These energy spikes are becoming more frequent," Samara noted, her fingers tracing patterns in the holographic display. "And look at this wavelength. It's similar to background radiation from what?" James leaned closer. "From the edge of our galaxy. Commander, I think the sphere is trying to warn us about something." Their research was interrupted by Ambassador Zarath's urgent transmission. "Commander, Doctor, our long-range sensors have detected an anomaly, a void in space, growing larger. We've seen this before." The ambassadors shared their data, and Samira's face paled. The void was exactly what the sphere had been warning about, a cosmic phenomenon that devoured light, matter, and even time itself. The Zarkeli had encountered it centuries ago, losing several colonial systems before finding a way to redirect its path. "The sphere isn't just a communication device," Zarath explained. "It's part of a network of artifacts left by the Ancient Ones, designed to bring species together when this threat returns. And it's returning now." James watched the simulation of the void's progress. "How long?" "Without intervention. 6 Earth months before it reaches populated space, but together we might have a chance." As they delved deeper into the sphere's secrets, they discovered its true purpose. When combined with others of its kind, the artifacts could generate a field capable of containing and redirecting the void. But it would require unprecedented cooperation between humans and Zarkeli. The choice was clear, but the path forward would test both species to their limits. The combined human-Zarkeli fleet assembled at the edge of the void's approach vector. 12 ships, their hulls gleaming with the latest hybrid technology, born from both civilizations' knowledge. The sphere pulsed with increasing urgency in the horizon's cargo bay. That's when the Vathine struck. Their ships emerged from stealth, sleek and predatory. The Vathine had been watching, waiting for this moment when both humanity and the Zarkeli were vulnerable. Their message was simple: hand over the sphere technology, or watch as the void consumed everything. "They don't understand." Zarath's voice was heavy with concern. "The artifacts can't be used as weapons. They're tools of unity, not destruction. Lieutenant Tanaka's sensors blared warnings. Multiple Vathine vessels on attack vectors. They're targeting the sphere containment chambers. James made a split-second decision. All ships, defensive formation Delta. We protect those artifacts at all costs. Humanity and Zarkeli together. Show them what unity really means. What followed was a battle unlike anything in human history. Vathine weapons fire crossed paths with Zarkeli energy beams, while human ships executed maneuvers that caught their attackers off guard. But the real surprise came from the spheres themselves. As the battle raged, the artifacts began resonating in harmony, creating patterns of energy that the Vathine couldn't penetrate. It wasn't a weapon. It was a shield, born from the combined will of two species fighting together. The Vathine commander's final transmission betrayed their fundamental misunderstanding. How can you trust each other so completely? Because, James responded, we've learned that the greatest power in the universe isn't technology or weapons. It's the choice to stand together. Unity's dawn. The void loomed before them, a darkness deeper than space itself. On the horizon's bridge, human and Zarkeli crews worked side by side, their movements synchronized after months of preparation. All artifacts in position, Samira reported. Energy synchronization at 98%. James shared a look with Ambassador Zerath. Together, the ambassador confirmed. The spheres activated simultaneously, their combined energy forming a lattice of light that encircled the void. The power drain was enormous. Every ship in the fleet channeled their energy into supporting the network. It's working, Samira called out, her voice tight with concentration. The void is being contained, but she hesitated. The strain on the artifacts is increasing. They weren't designed to handle this much power for so long. Warning lights flashed across every console. The void fought against its constraints, threatening to break free. That's when James realized what had to be done. The spheres respond to consciousness, he said, not just technology. Every mind on these ships, human and Zarkeli, we need to work as one. Understanding dawned in Zerath's multiple eyes. The ambassador initiated a joint consciousness link, a Zarkeli technique they'd been hesitant to share until now. Through the spheres, every crew member's thoughts merged into a single purpose. Human determination blended with Zarkeli wisdom. Earth's chaos and creativity merged with the Conclave's order and experience. In that moment of perfect unity, the artifacts blazed with unprecedented power. The void didn't just retreat. It collapsed in on itself, transformed by the combined will of two species into something entirely new. Where darkness had threatened to devour all, a new star was born. Months later, the Galactic Peace Council held its first session in orbit around that very star. Representatives from Earth sat alongside Zarkeli delegates, while Vathine observers watched from the gallery. Their recent conflict transformed into cautious diplomacy. Dr. Hassan presented her final report on the spheres, which now served as the foundation for a new form of interstellar communication. The Ancient Ones knew that the greatest challenges couldn't be overcome alone, she concluded. They left us these artifacts not just to save us from the void, but to save us from ourselves. Commander Rodriguez, newly appointed as Earth's first council representative, added his own observation. We looked to the stars expecting to find either friends or enemies. Instead, we found mirrors, other beings struggling with the same fundamental questions about existence, purpose, and peace. The original sphere, now embedded in the council chamber's central column, pulsed with a new pattern, one that combined elements of every species that had joined the alliance. It was no longer just a beacon or a tool, but a symbol of what was possible when different worlds chose to reach for peace together. Ambassador Zerath's closing words at the ceremony captured the spirit of their achievement. The path to peace was never about finding perfection. It was about finding the courage to take that first step, and the wisdom to keep walking it together. As the new star shone through the council chamber's windows, its light carried a promise to every world it touched, that in the vast darkness of space, unity would always shine brighter than conflict. The end.